Hello and welcome to the Summer of Best Ball with yours truly, Justin Herzig. It is July 28th, my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Brian, out there. We are exactly 6 weeks from opening night. Bills at Rams. I'm pumped. And continuing on throughout the summer for the next 6 weeks, I'll still be hosting Underdog Best Ball streams, bringing on some very special guests. Catch us every Tuesday, Thursday, live on the ETR channel, hosted in partnership with the Owners Club. Coming very soon, a new way to play best ball and fantasy football. Also, want to give a quick heads up to let people know that everyone who signs up for the ETR Draft Kit Pro will get a free $10 on Underdog. Comes with best ball rankings, content, season-long Dynasty coverage, everything you need. Even if you already have an Underdog account, you can get that free $10, no strings attached. Now, once you get that Draft Kit Pro, head over to the Underdog Content Hub on ETR. Has a link, claim your $10. And if you're new to Underdog, promo code ETR gets you up to a $100 deposit bonus. And now, with us this afternoon, I've read legitimately millions of the words he's written about fantasy football. You know him from his iconic matchups columns or possibly his jugs of water. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Evan Silva. How are we doing today?
What's up, Justin? It's great to be with you. The Hall of Fame game is literally I think 7 days away, or 6 or 7 days away. We're going to be able to start gambling and firing up DFS lineups, Jaguars, Raiders. Hopefully we get a look at Zamir White. He has not practiced so far in training camp for undisclosed reasons. The Raiders now run by former Patriots front office guys and coaches. And, the Patriots always mysterious with the injuries. Then on the other side, Snoop Connor is a guy that I think is worthy of last round best ball consideration. I almost took him in my Pros versus Joe's best ball league last Sunday night. But yeah, football's here, man. It's here.
I'm pumped. Yeah, no, I think that Hall of Fame game, it doesn't matter what happens on the field. At the end of the day, it's just great to have that football back. But for those looking for preseason, we know that Cody on ETR is going to be grinding those. Already put out some little teasers on Twitter about what's been going on behind the scenes, getting those projections even stronger this year. I'm pumped as well. I'm pumped to have you on the stream. Look at this. I've got my Mother Effin' Mackey Award shirt on. I've got my jug of water. Let's go.
Oh, shit.
It's going to be a fun one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to start us going. I will get us into a draft. While we're doing that, people in chat can play our favorite game. Let's start it off with 2 truths, 1 lie.
Okay. My first truth is that Allen Robinson will finish as a top 12 fantasy wide receiver and vastly outproduce Julio Jones. All right. Now, shout out to good friend Matt Friedman. I've hung out with him. He's a great guy. He's really one of my favorite analysts. But I think he's absolutely crazy with his take that he put out on Twitter that Julio Jones is going to outscore Allen Robinson. Matthew Stafford is a wide receiver elevator. We saw it in Detroit with guys like Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones and Golden Tate. And obviously last year with Cooper Kupp. And based on what, Matt Harmon saw, reception, wide receiver maven, there's still enough left in Allen Robinson's take. It was just –
Let's not give away what's the truth and what's the lie just yet.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I did think Friedman was actually trolling, but then turns out he actually believes that. Okay, so we got Allen Robinson as a top 12. Yeah. What are the other 2?
Well, and because I've started to draft Zeke because he's falling into the middle of the 4th round. So I have I have some personal trepidation regarding this, but I do think that by, let's say, mid-October, Tony Pollard is going to just make himself so invaluable to the offense that lost so much explosiveness. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup is according to James Slater, at least going to miss the first couple of games of the season. That they're going to have to play Tony Pollard at least to like a half 50-50 split. And I don't think it'll happen in September, but I do think that come mid-October, they're going to need Tony Pollard's explosiveness on the field because they're not as explosive as they've been in recent years. And they need a guy who can create on his own because that offensive line just isn't what it used to be. I mean, Zach Martin and Tyron Smith are, they got like 20 years of NFL experience, and I don't mean that in a positive way at this stage of their career. So,
all right. So first off, we're going to take JT. I think we're cool with that. We've got the number 2. No concerns there. But I think your maybe next truth or potential lie is Pollard's just going to get a lot of work. What was it?
No. I mean, Tony Pollard is going to make an even RBBC split with Ezekiel Elliott by the middle of October.
All right. Number 2, we've got even RBB split with Pollard.
Yeah.
And Davis thinks we're just going to get 3 truths, no lies. That would be a wild card. Let's know. What is the third one?
No, the lie is I don't know. Am I doing this wrong?
I think chat was going to guess which was the truth and the lie, but I like this method first. This is far better and on brand. I love it.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this my own way. All right. And the lie out there is that Melvin Gordon is a lock to make the Broncos roster on the Denver. I don't know. It wasn't on the Denver Broncos preview. I don't know. It was on one of the Football Guys preview shows. Cecil Lammey, who covers the Broncos, was like, "Don't be surprised if Melvin Gordon gets cut." So, and I mean, he's covered the Broncos for a long time.
So, what's the actionable thing there? Do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think it might be. It could be Javonte Williams. It could be Mike Boone in the last round.
We love our Mike Boone, preseason like Mike Boone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I put out on Twitter earlier, I think earlier this week around, like, I thought Javonte Williams at the end of the second is like an extremely high price tag for the split, for the uncertainty, with there's so many mouths to feed in that offense, and they ran so much last year. So even if he continues to get that split and then increases it by about 5-10% that a lot of people are thinking, that's still like, is it going to be as run heavy as an offense? Are they going to have like spreading out those touchdowns? There are so much talent on that team. And like, if we're really going to let Russ cook, unless like Javonte Williams is going to be getting that 4 or 5 targets a game, I don't know. It's possible, but I think it's a really interesting.
I'm still I'm still like drafting Melvin Gordon where he goes. I mean, I'm not like hard fast on this at all. But I do think that and we talked about it potentially happening last year. But Javonte Williams was a rookie. Now the Broncos have seen what they've done, or see what he can do. If they feel like they and the contract that they gave Melvin Gordon to come back was very minimal. So it's not like he's assured by way of his contract or anything like that.
Yeah, let's go back to the Zeke one and the Pollard because each year we've been saying, okay, this is Pollard's year. Pollard's going to work into it. Pollard's actually lining up as a wide receiver. They're lining up 2 running backs in the field at the same time. It feels like we keep eking closer. But then again, preseason comes out and it sounds like Zeke's in the best shape of his life. Zeke's going to be our workhorse. We think Zeke's the best running back in the league. Is it the year?
I mean, that's like the truth that I gave. So, I mean, I guess I'm yeah. But again, like, I'm taking Zeke Elliott when he falls to the 4th round because he still has like 12, 14 touchdown potential.
Yeah, I think if you're, a fan of that handcuff strategy and you wanted to kind of take them both, this could be that year that it happens. And I think they could actually both still provide value, whereas Zeke just getting those amount of touchdowns on the ground. And if Pollard, actually cuts into a bit more of the in between the 20s in the running game and then has the predominant pass share work, God, he's looked so electric on the field when given the chance.
I know. Oh, he's a baller, dude. He's a stone cold baller. I mean, but they could both beat their ADPs. I mean, for as far as Ezekiel Elliott's ADP is now falling, and we know that Tony Pollard has a massive ceiling, like they can both be ADP beaters, and that's what we're looking for, especially in best ball. We want like all of our picks to beat their ADPs.
Yeah. So speaking of best ball, have you been doing under drafts? Have you been doing other sites? Like, what's your off season been looking like for best ball?
I'm very much mainly on FFPC, but I've done a bunch of best ball drafts. Some on my fantasy league, did a bunch of like dynasty rookie drafts. This is actually my first underdog draft, though.
There it is. I love it. Yeah. We are getting the first one.
Yeah. So what's your, and I know that you're a stud on underdog. What it would be like if you could siphon out one piece of advice, strategy advice for the people, for me, what would you say it is on this particular drafting site, or do you not want to give it away?
No, 100% I'll give that away. Happy to. But let's so we are on the clock right now, and top of our ADP. So these are ETR ADP. We've got Tyreek, or if we wanted a running back, you got Chubb. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I know that a lot of people are down on Tyreek, and I actually did just bump him down a little bit in my rankings. I would take him though.
Okay.
I mean, I think, look, they're going to feed him. He's shown that he can win on the short stuff, and that's what Tua does best right now. They need to get the ball out of his hands. Their offensive line is still problematic. I mean, Mike McDaniel coming from the Kyle Shanahan, we saw what he did with Deebo Samuel, all that. Like, he's going to get the ball. I'm not worried about his target share. I think it's interesting that Leone has talked about how one of his bold predictions that Jalen Waddle is going to finish with more targets than Tyreek Hill this year. At the end of the day, I think they're both going to get a ton of targets because the drop off, and there are a bunch of other different pass catchers there that kind of have names. Mike Gesicki, Chase Edmonds can catch the ball, but I mean these are going to be the centerpieces of their offense, and I think that Mike McDaniel is going to do a good job getting both of them, making sure both guys get fed.
Yeah, we are back in the clock. We have JT, we have Tyreek Hill. If we wanted to look at some correlation, Michael Pittman's available. I know you're kind of high on him. We've got Keenan Allen, Nick Chubb. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I think Pittman is pretty interesting.
I like it. I don't feel too strongly about any of these wide receivers.
I mean, Kamara would be a good pick. I'd be willing to take him here.
We just ran out of time. But I think, I agree with you on the Kamara side of things. For me, with an exposure, so like you can see, I have 14% of him in my portfolio already, and I'm mainly trying to draft him when there's a bit more value. But I'm on the same team as you, as I think as over the next few weeks, especially after that August 1st, we're going to get more information that gives us more confidence that he's not going to be suspended this year. And when that happens, we'll see that ADP move to. Where do you think, if we knew he's not getting suspended this year, where do you think Alvin Kamara gets drafted?
He probably goes a little bit too high because I think that, I mean, like if we know for sure, which I don't even know if we'll ever get that. Like even going into the season, like there could be like, a possibility of an in-season suspension. Also, there's supposed to be a court date of some sort on August 1st. Maybe we'll get some clarity, but we probably won't.
And if that video comes out middle of the season, snap. It
exactly.
Like
I mean, think about it. The NFL doesn't come out and say like, no, there will be no suspension, right? Like they're just going to announce if there's a suspension.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Completely agree.
Yeah.
But I do think the more
I think now, or up until this point till now, this is the time to draft Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, completely agree. So here, perfect segue. You asked me what's my number one tip, and I think I'm not going to go with the things that a lot of people know around. Don't reach for ADP. Make sure you stack. The importance of Week 17. I think the most value add, the unique one that I can provide is lean into uncertainty. When you don't feel comfortable choosing someone, it's most likely that a lot of people else aren't as well. And so there's a reason why you're going to get value on that person. And likely you're taking that upside scenario that we're hoping for, and you're willing to risk that floor of a 0. And if you end up getting that Kamara season where he is suspended for 6 games, like it is what it is. It sucks. But like one is, if it doesn't happen though, you're getting substantial value. And even if he does, it just means his advance rate in the playoffs is going to be even lower. And maybe there's an increased chance that you go into that championship week being the only person that has Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Rumor has it that's a pretty valuable thing to have. And so I'd say that's not just for the Kamara situation, but across the board, rookies, their range of outcomes is so wide just because we've never seen them in the league. We've never seen their role with that team. So when you have a guy like George Pickens, when you have a guy like, before this injury, David Bell, we didn't know what to expect. They weren't drafted as high as some of the other rookies, but they still have that upside compared to if you're drafting a Marvin Jones around that play. So that's what I'd say is lean into uncertainty. Be okay with, hey, drafting players that are just complete duds because you're going for that upside.
Where are you at on the spreadsheet socialist propaganda that we should be memorizing all of the Week 17 matchups and making sure? Because I actually have done this in a draft because that Broncos Chiefs game in Week 17 looks dope, and you can stack that game.
Just for you, what I have right here for you is Week 17 opponents in red. Because now, when some of our guests are on stream and they haven't memorized it, we make them do push-ups. We make them do laps. But for you, you're too busy doing the matchups. You're keeping track of everything. We've got with the HUD display, the heads up. We've got our Week 17. This is my ADP where I've been drafting them. And then this here is how much exposure I have.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
You will. Yeah, no, you're always going to know who we're playing.
Sometimes the spreadsheet socialists can be right. I mean, we can't, they're not always wrong. Sometimes they get stuff right.
No, completely agree.
But I do love that Broncos Chiefs game in Week 17 because there are a lot of just affordable guys on both sides.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so for me, I'm 100% on board the Week 17 correlation. When you have to beat out 469 people, if you were entering, hey, you become a big single entry GPP kind of guy. And if you're playing a tourney that has 500 people, what are you going to do? You're going to build a game stack. You're going to have a run back. All right. If you're doing that, you have that bring back. You maybe have even 2-3 options in the offense. You're doing that because you're making a bet in that game. It's the same kind of aspect.
Same concept, with
the Week 17. The only difference is we have to get a little lucky and hope that what we're drafting now is alive, and that's the team that goes off in Week 17. But if you have a chance at doing it, why not take that chance? All right, we're coming back up around. So a little refresher. We've got that Indy stat going with Taylor and Pittman. We've got the Tyreek Hill aspect. Miami, New England is that tough Week 17, but not scaring us right now. Let's see what kind of value is dropping. Chris Godwin's a really interesting one. We recently just moved him up the ranks as the positive news around camp. This is, so I'll give a little personal on these drafts. I'm probably a little more hesitant to take him at a 47 or, because I've been getting him at 61 here. Or I've been getting him a little later, but I do believe he's also going to be a 4th round pick pretty quickly. So it's interesting to weigh those two.
I agree with that. I still think it's likelier than not that he isn't available for maybe the first 1, 2, 3 games, but the fact that he already beat PUP, he's practicing. So, I think he's limited, but he's a baller. I always want to be higher than the field on Chris Godwin. We've been higher on the field than Chris Godwin for years at this point, and it's paid off every year.
All right, real quick, we got Akers, we got Breece Hall if we want a running back. We've got Deontay Johnson is the best wide receiver. We got 8 seconds. What are you thinking?
Oh, shit, I just pulled this up on my phone. What's that? What are we looking at? Cam Akers.
All right, we went with Akers at the top of the ETR ranks, but we've got another pick in 2. And so we've got Breece Hall as top running back. We've got Deontay. We got Brandon Cooks. We got Chris Godwin.
Yeah, Kittle ends the top tight end tiers.
Kittle's there as well, right at ADP if we want to take that.
You only have 3%, huh?
Wow. I haven't been drafting that much because I'm a little scared of how much they're actually going to pass and whether.
I totally agree. I totally agree. But there does come a point where
want to take them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Let's do it. We're playing for upside. And I guess that's probably one of my faults here in me missing Kittle is there's no question he has the weekly upside of any tight end, probably even higher.
Right.
And so that might be a bit of a flaw. But for me, it comes down to even when I'm drafting Trey Lance, everything tells me. Because do you remember the reports last year when it was Kittle? There's a video of him critiquing Trey Lance's throw and saying Jimmy wouldn't throw like that, or something Jimmy threw a perfect spiral or something. Like you could just tell there was some kind of a little unrest around George Kittle.
Really?
Where like, yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too much feel, not enough spreadsheets.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, we are coming back around. Do we do a bad pick in Cam Akers? I know we're a little rushed there. What are your thoughts? Because this is that Cam Akers, Breece Hall, Zeke. We are hitting a bit of that kind of dead zone. Is it the same dead zone as years past? What are you thinking?
I would say no. I don't know. That's a tough question. It could be shit. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I was looking through right now and I was trying to figure out like what I thought my dead zone was for this year. And I honestly think it starts more in like round 5 for running backs.
Yeah,
it's that Josh Jacobs. It's the Antonio Gibson. It's
every draft, like Josh Jacobs goes like several rounds before I would even think about him.
You were talking about Zamir White. I mean, I don't think Kenyon Drake's going to disappear. I know like there was a small amount of time Josh Jacobs started catching passes, but I don't think that's what they want to do. And as you know, we've noted, it's his contract year for Josh Jacobs. They did not pick up his 5th year as the rookie. So all signs for that is always like, hey, sayonara, we drafted another running back who's going to do 95% of what you did, if not even more.
And also, you know, we know the Patriots have a long history of having like, you know, specific, you know, specialized running back roles, you know, and I mean, they brought back Kenyon Drake. They didn't exercise a 5th-year option. They drafted 2 running backs. They added Amir Abdullah. I mean, they're going to use multiple guys, you know, no question. And also they have a terrible offensive line. So if Josh Jacobs isn't catching passes, like you need some level of like running back, you know, efficiency. And I don't think we're going to get it. I mean, he also has shown that he's always hurt. I mean, he hasn't missed a ton of games, but he's always like dealing with some sort of injury. He comes in and out of the games. They're going to look at that and be like, yeah, well, we need to push down his workload because he wasn't a workhorse in college either. You know, he played behind Damian Harris technically.
Yeah, I agree. Always dinged up. And I think so when we do look at the guys that we were thinking, you know, we had Cam Akers, we had Breece Hall. I mean, Sean G makes a good point. Like here, at least Akers on a good offense. And like, it's such a simple comment, but it's so true. And it makes such a difference in my mind when I'm thinking of the upside because Breece Hall is probably more talented than Cam Akers. I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but I'd say probably. But Breece Hall also has Michael Carter competing against him. Yeah. Breece Hall also is on the Jets, and we have no idea what to expect there. I know I was listening to the pod that you and Levitan did recently where, like, you could tell you're not that bullish on the Jets. Like, you're expecting Zach Wilson to be a bit of a pocket passer, and just that offense may not be that good. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, they're just a massive question mark. They're kind of thrown together, a lot of rookies. You know, the underlying metrics on Zach Wilson were just atrocious last year. I don't know. I also freaking hedged by taking him at MVP 150-1. But
he's a quarterback. That's really all you need. And you're New York. If they actually got off to a hot start, like, you know, New York is firing that up. Yeah.
And they did put a lot of talent around him. And Mekhi Becton showed up in shape, it looks like. So, I mean, there are some reasons to be optimistic here.
I'm team Garrett Wilson. I think he's one of the most undervalued rookies from the wide receiver core this year.
Well, those guys are just tough to rank. I mean, they're really tough to rank. I mean, they've got 3 tight ends that can play too. You know, they drafted one this year. They signed C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Conklin. Yeah. You know, Braxton Berrios was the dude who Zach Wilson favored the most last year. He's the number 4 receiver now.
And we know Braxton and Zach have a very strong connection. Always growing it up in those Instagram posts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very strong.
We have
a lot of time spent in the showers, but for sure.
There you go. We have hit the dead zone of the running backs. Yeah. The one thing I will mention, though, is Elijah Mitchell is there, and we could possibly go Elijah Mitchell and Trey Lance and just go heavy San Francisco. Elijah scares me with all the recent news, but
I recently gave Michael Thomas a real big bump up.
What do you want to do? You want to try the San Francisco stack, or you want to grab Michael Thomas?
Yeah. You only live once, so let's do it.
Let's do it. We are as long as Hawkberg here doesn't go for the Trey Lance steal with a naked, that would be Trey Lance. Hawkberg's not going to do it.
No, it's not going to do
That'll
that.
give us a nice, some fun San Francisco. And we got Las Vegas as the bring back. So we know there's a couple guys that, I guess Devontae and Waller are gone. Renfro, we're going to miss out on. Maybe we'll get a Zamir White in the 18th. All right.
Yeah.
Locking in the Trey Lance.
Sure.
Okay. I like it. And Trey Lance I've been high on. You can see how much his ADP is moving up. I think my average draft to him is at 88, and he's now at 78 for ADP. So he is climbing as we get more certainty around his role, and the lack of Jimmy. Not surprising there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like what the 49ers are doing right now with Jimmy, because, I mean, he's not even like in the team meetings. He apparently he just arrived in Santa Clara. That was the first time he's been in Santa Clara the entire offseason. They're just like trying to restrict Kyle Shanahan from like going back to him. Trey Lance starts to struggle and can't maybe start 1-2 during the season. Week 4, like they can win with Jimmy Garoppolo. They know that, but they want a higher ceiling. Or I think it's really driven by the organization, not necessarily Kyle Shanahan. But Kyle Shanahan has like met them in the middle. Okay, we're gonna send Jimmy away, we're gonna roll. We're gonna do this with Trey Lance, and it could be an adventure.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So, like, I think it said I had like 11% Trey Lance, and for me, a lot of that Trey Lance is honestly like naked Trey Lance, because I think his most successful season is going to be pretty hard for like those other guys to really have substantial value as well. I'm trying to think, if Trey Lance hits his top 5% outcome, that means he's rushing for 1,000 yards, probably has 10 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Who's also going to be value in that offense at ADP?
Yeah, that's fair.
I could see Kittle maybe, just because he's getting the efficiency with the touchdowns and the offense being better. I could see Ayuk just because he's getting drafted the latest.
Yeah, he goes so late. I mean, it could also be just a straight dominant running game like Alfred Morris and RG3 was, and my dude Tyrion Davis-Price. Where are you at on TDP?
I was pretty high on him up into this past week. The past week, I've definitely slowed down with the Trey Sermon news, because I think my argument or my belief in San Francisco was that it could be anyone. That means it could be TDP. TDP's value is at 170 or whatever, and they drafted him at higher capital than Elijah Mitchell. So, like, I'm there. But, like, that same argument applies to why Trey Sermon theoretically could also have a role. And so maybe this is an opportunity for me to lean into the uncertainty and like say like, hey, I'm going to take more Trey Sermon now, just because he's not been drafted the rest of this. Because like
Trey Sermon, I mean,
it's so ugly. But like from a game theory aspect, we're about 35% of our way through Underdog Mania, Underdog Best Ball here. And 99% of those drafts don't have Trey Sermon, but 99% do have TDP. So like maybe there's just that game theory aspect. I'm not sure. It probably makes me I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
I think this is a good question from Landa 501, albeit negative. Can you draft a worse quarterback running back correlation than Trey Lance and Eli Mitchell? And, I get it, because really in no scenario is Eli Mitchell going to catch a lot of passes. I mean, that's a big problem for Eli Mitchell, and why he's not a very fun draft pick, right? But there is the Alfred Morris RG3 corollary, where Kyle Shanahan was the OC in Washington. And I mean, they just killed it in the running game, just had a straight dominant running game. That would be the scenario where this one hits, I think.
And I mean, different coaching staff, but I think Lamar and J.K. Dobbins and even Gus Edwards is like a fair example as well, where if your offense in that running game can just be so efficient that it just creates opportunities that like Dobbins and like Gus Edwards weren't getting crazy amount of touches, but it was so heavily efficient, especially in the red zone. And so I think that's where this team could have I don't know, Leone's going to kill me because this is probably a crazy number, but like a 2-to-1 ratio of rushing touchdowns to passing touchdowns. And like, that's where both of these guys hit, just because the offense is crazy efficient, productive, and they're both scoring a ton of touchdowns.
But I do get, what he's talking about, because, it's not like Trey Lance is going to be throwing a lot of passes to Eli Mitchell.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Yeah, and we're not drafting Elijah Mitchell for his pass catching work.
Right.
So I think that just needs to be understood, and that's why we got him with pick 71 and not
Sure.
in that a lot higher.
Sure.
Okay, bit of an interesting spot here. No tight ends I really love. We have our QB. Any wide receivers that really jump out at you?
I mean,
or if you want to grab one of those running backs.
I'm sold out for Chase Claypool.
Want to talk a little about the slot, like what that looks like for if he's actually going to be 6'4" dude playing in the slot?
6'4", 238. I mean, nickel slot corners in the NFL are generally like, well, they started to get a little bigger, but you would just usually play like for a long time, just play your smallest corner in the slot. So I mean, these guys are typically 5'9", 5'10" tops.
Why is that? Is it smaller corners in the slot because they usually don't need to be beat up like on the the flanks and the higher balls outside, or what's that from a?
Wait, I mean I think that is just like these things become like conventional wisdom among coaches. You wanted like your little dude in the slot, and then your big corners on the outside to cover the big perimeter receivers.
Right.
And then I think the conventional wisdom stuff has started to go away a little bit, but I mean it's definitely still there with some coaches. Yeah.
All right, so I do very much enjoy. You can say like I like these wide receivers. I got a lot of Garrett Wilson, but Tyler Lockett. Obviously, the offense is a big question mark, but the talent's there. Sky Moore is probably the opposite. Ooh. Amazing offense, but questionable talent. What are you thinking?
Ramondre is fun. How many RBs do we have?
We have 3. We could definitely grab a running back here.
I mean, Ramondre would be fun. Then we just don't draft another running back, right?
We would probably, yeah. So we'll grab Ramondre here. This gives us a build where I wouldn't mind grabbing like a 18th round running back or something.
Okay.
We basically just say like, hey, we're not committing any more capital to it, but come round 18, 17, if there's a guy that we like, no concern going there.
Right.
Because we're probably going to go with, I don't know, we got to take a look because we've got the two QB, the QB and tight end that are both in that, like, if we grab another one soon, we can probably end up with 2. If we wait too long, we'd end up with 3 at either position.
Yeah. Okay.
I know there's some late tight ends that you really like.
I'm going to go grab a beer. I'm going to be back in a second.
Please do. Go for it. We got time. All right. How's it going, chat? Let's see. Yes, this has been, I think, pretty good right now. I like that this is definitely a unique setup for me. Have not been drafting too much of 2 other guys with San Francisco. I definitely think that correlation comment was really sharp. And again, I think the most likely outcome is that in an individual game, Trey Lance and Elijah Mitchell are going to have negative correlation because more likely one of them's taking those rushing touchdowns. But I do think across an entire season, that is where you have the opportunity to really, make a bet on that offense and get that correlation, and then hope week 17 something crazy happens. Good call on the board. I'll show that board back. Let's see where we are down here. And then, so the overlay, I've recently started using this because I think it really helps for me to get a feel for what my exposure is, where I'm lacking, and what my ADP is. But Brick 75, good friend. He's the one who kind of just created this on his own and then put it up available on his site. I think brick75.com. Okay. Let's see as we're coming back. I think we got some a lot of familiar names in here as well. So good to see you all here. I think for me in this draft, I'm kind of trying to figure out right now who's that next QB to make this just a 2 QB build. It's really just Trey Lance is in that middle zone. So 2 is probably the person that I'm keeping the biggest eye on right now. No bye week issue. We have the Tyreek Hill. We have the Ramondre Stevenson in that week 17 game. So we'll see when we're picking here with 119, 122. It'd be a bit of a reach, but it feels right. How's it going? What do we grab? What are we drinking? Oh, we don't have headphones yet. Okay. We'll have to ask in a minute.
Okay. Do you usually go this RB heavy in your drafts, in your underdog drafts?
When you say RB heavy, so I mean, I wouldn't actually say this is that RB heavy because we didn't draft another running back until what? You got 5th round here. I'd say this is a bit more balanced than I normally go. Heavily,
Okay.
I've been going like 2 RBs in the first 3 because I think there's a lot of value for those RBs in the 3rd.
We did go pretty early with our onesies.
Right. And then I'll probably would wait a bit. But I mean, I don't think there's any like, hey, here's the schematic that I'm doing for every draft. It's more of just where's the value falling and what story are we telling?
Mm-hmm.
And so while you were gone, I was saying like trying to figure out a QB that we can grab gives us correlation and then allows us to just stop at 2 QBs. And I think 2 is probably a play because we've got Tyreek. We've got Stevenson with the week 17 bring back.
Okay.
Bye week doesn't cause an issue. Now, ADP is 133. We'd be drafting him at 119 or 122. So
no, I can't.
Bit of overreach.
No, I don't think so. Not an
ADP reacher. I know. And then if you want to wait,
not for Tua. Not for Tua.
Then you got to wait. You got to wait till 143 where he's probably gone. So I think in that situation, like, hey, we can see is there someone we love and make a kind of a decision there. What's your thoughts on Tua then? Is there?
I don't know. With Aaron Rodgers still available, I get the correlation, but
all right. What up? So Aaron Rodgers would be there in 3. We do not have any Packer players, but we do have a couple late Packers receivers we do like.
Yeah. And maybe a Packers tight end.
That's true as well. I don't know if you were in Slack channel we're talking about.
Yeah. I think we're in lockstep on Tanyan, right?
Yep, I agree. I think that chemistry, I think the red zone role that he had previously, I think there's a lot of value there as long as he's healthy. The health is a little bit of a risk, but yeah.
What am I drinking? This is Spotted Cow. I was just in Wisconsin for a wedding. Brought back a ton of Spotted Cow. This is money. Where do you live again, Herzig?
I'm down in Florida, so Tampa St. Pete area. So I got High Lie. I got a lot of those Florida kind of breweries.
Okay, nice.
All right, so we have an interesting decision coming up here. We have Rodgers and Tua here. Hawkberg does not have a Green Bay, so we can just let it wait. Would you want Christian Watson?
No.
I know.
Did we take Rodgers?
Not yet, but we could.
I don't want Christian Watson.
Or there's 2 running backs that are. I like both these running backs, and just call it a day with those 5 running backs. We got 4 seconds.
I don't know, dude. Pick somebody.
Okay. I'm going Cordell Patterson. I'm very high on him from an upside standpoint. It's our 5th. Yeah.
All right. So now we're done. We're not taking any more RBs.
100% done with RBs. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. So we have a very strong running back. We're hoping that our onesie positions with Trey Lance and George Kittle provide, really can carry us. And then we need to fill out wide receivers with some depth as we go.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna have to make a decision for us. Rodgers, and we can then find some stack. Oh, Rodgers does go. Okay.
Are they watching this?
100%. Welcome to streamer life.
They just live to snipe us.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's do it for the correlation.
Really? Are you serious, man?
Who do you want instead? Because any of these wide receivers, I feel like they're stretches.
Yeah, I know. Shit. Oh God.
Close your eyes. Don't look.
Just do it.
It just happened to get on our team. We've got the week 17 stack. It's a little ugly. But the other thing is, if you don't draft Tua there, I guess we could have gone with like a naked Fields, but that feels even uglier. We're then kind of stuck in a 3 QB build, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, you don't like that. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that.
And so, GA007 saying 14% to a yuck. A lot of this is because of my correlation. Like Jalen, I've got a lot of Jalen Waddle. I think I'm about like 22% Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like you got a lot of Robbie.
And almost all this Robbie, look, this was 155. So later on, Robbie and DJ Moore, I was very, very heavy on pre-Baker news. And then
I saw you're above 20% on DJ Moore too.
Yep, exactly. And then once the Baker news came out, their ADP started shifting a bit. I'm still taking Robbie, still taking DJ, but definitely not as much as before, as that value kind of is slowly eliminating. Hi. Why the hate on Rodgers? What's your answer there? I've got some thoughts, but I'm curious. Like, is there hate Rodgers? I don't know. You were kind of almost pushing for him, but which is up?
I mean, I couldn't bear taking Tua over Aaron Rodgers.
Good thing we didn't have to.
Yeah. The sniper got us. I mean, I don't have any real hate for him, but I thought he would be like a pretty good value pick there. And as you mentioned, there's a tight end that we might like in Green Bay, and a number of intriguing wide receivers there who, I mean, they're long shots. Yeah.
Where art thou, Romeo?
Yeah, I mean, he's balling. So I think we know where he is, man. He's out on that damn practice field, killing it. Although they're not even really in pads yet. So it's fun to talk about the guys, but we gotta get the pads. We need to get the boys hitting.
It's fair. You've got a couple things that are really falling his way. Christian Watson aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a player that coming out of college you expected to have needed some time. Not polished. So now you have his injuries, lacking that ability to get rapport with Rodgers, which we know is probably the most important thing to have that connection with Rodgers. And we've known his lack of affinity for, rookie wide receivers. Romeo then comes in kind of like an Elijah Mitchell situation where the later draft pick of the two with one star, or not star, but heralded name above him, and then maybe has the opportunity to come in and kind of steal the show. For me, though, like I love getting him at the end of drafts because no one else is drafting him, but I do accept like Amari Rodgers. Reports have looked pretty decent for him too. Year 2 could have that kind of uptick. Randall Cobb. Apparently there was news that Beasley was considering going to Green Bay, but Rodgers specifically wanted Randall Cobb there. And so that connection still exists. There's a lot of mouths to feed on a team that's going to be probably pretty run heavy. So it's not a slam dunk, but I do like Romeo.
I do too. Did you just expose yourself as a Miami Dolphins fan?
No.
And you're drafting with your heart. Okay.
I'm in Tampa. Tampa's right over there. Like, come on. It's like a 5-minute boat ride to go creep outside Tom Brady's huge mansion. Like,
is that right? That's sick, dude.
I'm all Tampa. No, it's funny. The Tampa sports teams are pretty great where whenever there's like, I don't know, like other cities, they have like what Green Bay has, they ride their bikes to the practice and stuff, and they pass the bikes to the kids and stuff. The Lightning, they just jet ski around to each other's houses, and then they do like podcasts and streams and stuff like on their jet skis. So it's just like really taking the Florida vibes.
The Lightning, I took them before the playoffs to win it all at 15-1. Oh man, that was a fucking heartbreaker right there, man.
That was tough.
But I mean, the Avalanche were just so good. I mean,
they were a better team.
They were better, straight up.
Three in a row would have been fun, but Tampa takes 2. That's not too bad. This isn't a hockey stream, but I love it. Okay. What are we looking at? We are coming back around. So we do have the 2 QBs. I think we feel pretty good about not needing to go with another QB. We really need some wide receivers.
I like Dotson. I think that the hate for him is way, way too strong. I think we could lock in 60 catches from him. I mean, he's going to be out there. They're real thin behind McLaurin and Dotson. I mean, he's the 16th pick in the draft. Like, the opportunity is absolutely going to be there. He's not coming off the field, man.
I completely agree. I think Curtis Samuel is the one risk to him is if Curtis Samuel is actually healthy.
Yeah. And it sounds like he is right now.
Yeah. You tell me, like, how much would those two, like, is that a Sterling Shepard, Wandale Robinson situation where they play the same, or could you see both?
Yeah. I mean, I think Curtis Samuel would be would be the 3, right? And and Dotson the 2 and McLaurin the 1. And I mean, teams play a lot of 3 receiver sets. Even the teams that use a lot of 2 tight end sets tend to play 60+% 3 receivers. So,
well, we've been given a gift, Evan.
Okay,
we got Mike Gesicki.
Oh God,
it's our stack partner with Tua.
Oh, man.
It's a value pick. We've got, look at that, 136 versus 143. This is what we call a slam dunk pick. I don't want to hear it. What's the Mike Gesicki hate other than just too many mouths? And
I mean, because he's not going to be like featured in the offense. So
he's
never a touchdown guy. Just
All right. Well, we are back. We're going to be going heavy wide receiver. I'm going to rattle off some names. We got DJ Chark. Love DJ Chark. We got Crowder. We got Van Jefferson.
This dude's a Dolphins fan. The commenters, they're coming around on it.
I am whatever
a closet. Yeah, are you when people ask you, oh, what team do you root for? My fantasy team. That's right. That's
all 700 answer. Of my best ball teams. Let me tell you, for the next 20 minutes, I am a fan of the Dolphins. I'm a fan of San Francisco. I'm a small fan of New England and a small fan of Las Vegas. Anything else? No.
All right, so we need to get some receivers here that can just give us some spikes. Oh, I love Nico. I mean, I like Wandale. I mean, the team is telling you that he's playing. He's going to be their slot receiver. Sterling Shepard tore his Achilles in like week 17 or something. I mean, Wandale is going to be their slot receiver.
Are we concerned about
going to be Kadarius Toney as like the movement Z, Wandale Robinson as the slot, and Galladay as the X? I mean, that's going to be their top three.
5'8", 180 pounds.
I know.
It's like what is Rondale Moore? Is that a pretty much comp for Rondale Moore?
Rondale is like jacked up though.
He's 5'7" and
190?
181. So we got 5'8", 185 versus 5'7", 181. We basically, those are pretty damn good comps.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know. I saw Rondale play a lot in college, so I'm like real familiar with this game. I have not seen as much of Wandale.
What was he out of Kentucky, I think?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's confusing, but putting aside the bias of the size and all of that, the signs for where they drafted him, the words they've been talking about him starting with the ones with Galladay and Toney in practice, like all of those things are positive. And then we know the Sterling, and I agree. And I think it was one of misquote, might have been Josh Norris, but someone was talking, Josh Norris or one of the smart football guys that's on the show was talking about how like there's virtually no chance that Sterling Shepard and Wandale Robinson are on the field together. Like they're going to play the same position. However, we don't expect Sterling Shepard to be out there for 6, 8, 10, who knows how long. Like,
yeah.
Wandale has the opportunity to steal that. And I think this is Sterling Shepard's last contract year. So if they were to let him go after this year, I don't think there's going to be too many tears. Let's see this. Galladay will be the Gabe Davis. Toney will be the Diggs, and Wandale the Cole Beasley. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's like pretty much just what I said. Yeah. In terms of like the position distribution, wide receiver distribution and location.
So who's going to be Josh Allen? Because I think that's the biggest question mark. There's obviously a talent drop between Diggs, Davis, Beasley, and Galladay, Toney, Wandale. But like that gap isn't as large as the Daniel Jones. And I think that's the bet we're making, is that we hope that he is able to sustain that offense. And, Dable's able to get a lot more out of him just from a design, from a scheme of that offensive line. Talk to me about the offensive line. How much improved?
The Giants' offensive line? Yeah. They've got 2 good tackles now, which they haven't had in forever. I like they took a bunch of shots on guys, Mark Glowinski, John Feliciano on the inside, just guys who would block people in the NFL before. Like they literally have had dudes on the offensive line like who can't freaking block, for years with the Giants. I'm fairly optimistic about their offensive line just being competent, and that's such a step forward from what they've been in recent years. And yeah, I mean, I think that they got a lot better this offseason on the O-line. Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Cause we know Daniel Jones has had fumble issues, but also when you're getting sacked from behind as often as he is, when literally he takes a snap and basically has to roll to his backside because he knows he's going to be on the run. You're not able to get those downfield passes that Josh Allen was able to get. You're not able to get more time to let the play actually mature. That's where hopefully that offensive line, even if it is just average, provides a nice boost. All right, we are coming back. We are going to be on the clock in a couple. we are still in that wide receiver need area. There's no true stacks that we're really thinking about here. I guess bring back as a Kendrick Bourne and a little. It's a bit of a reach.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on the whole Crowder McKenzie situation?
Well, Crowder, I mean, I know that McKenzie's getting hype, and he's the perfect type of dude who looked really good, like, in shorts at the outset of camp, because he's laterally agile. I mean, he was a great return man in college. Like, I think he had like 6 return touchdowns or something at Georgia. I mean, he was unbelievable. And then he's fast, and he's small. I mean, so he's going to look great at a time like this. And I like Isaiah McKenzie, but I think Jamison Crowder's been out with general soreness or with a hamstring. I don't know, one or two, or maybe that's the same thing. But Jamison Crowder has not been practicing. So, I would take the McKenzie stuff with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I mean, I like McKenzie. Maybe they will give him this shot. Jamison Crowder is like a veteran slot receiver he's been a good player when he's been healthy.
Yeah. Wide receiver here. We got 15 seconds. I got George Pickens as my favorite and top of the board.
That's fine.
Okay. I got an idea of who you're going to want next. We're not going to give it away for Hochberg, so we can take him again like you took our Rodgers. But you can going to be on the board again in 2 picks. Taking a look at what's available on the board down here. Also, you can tell from my exposure who I kind of have some favoritism towards here.
Bang, bang. McKenzie did have exactly 6 returns for touchdowns at Georgia.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I know that good call there. And I know when he did play those 2 full games last year, his snap share was something around like that 85 to 90%. So if he does get the opportunity to be a full-time player,
he's a fun dude to watch.
Should we grab your guy, Mr. I might be moving him up to the 150?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, yeah. I didn't realize that you were that much into him. 22%. That's a good chunk.
I'm big, and a lot of it has to do with I'm big on Daniel Jones too. So You take those together. He's my easy stack partner later on. But also, I just think that I'm bullish on the offense. I'm bearish on Sterling Shepard and his health, and so I think Wan'Dale Robinson can come in and win that job. And all the reports have been pretty positive.
I dig it. Where are we at?
Let's get a quick
round. I can't see, it's so small on my screen.
Yeah, so we just took the 15th round.
Okay.
We're at picks around 170. Wan'Dale usually goes later, but I know that on this stream we wouldn't have gotten him that late. So He's your guy. He's my guy. I'm happy grabbing him. Let's do a quick refresher on our team. So QB, we got the Trey, we got the Tua. I'm happy with Trey. Someone over here, our guest, is happy with Tua. I won't do any names or anything. Running backs, we went heavy, but we got Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, Elijah Mitchell, Ramondre Stevenson, and Cordell Patterson. I feel really good about those. Got some elite side, got a lot of upside.
Let me say this. It's a time. It's times like these when I'm like, did we take our RBs too early? Because there's still Khalil Herbert there. Jamal Williams was still there for a minute. I mean, there were still some. I mean, Gus Edwards isn't a bad pick. So I feel like you can learn from that over the course of a draft. Like, did we go a little too RB heavy early? So it like prevented us really from taking another potential value pick at RB in the 15th and 16th rounds. I mean, do you think like that?
I 100% agree with you. And I think my other, I think probably we messed up on the Cam Akers. That's where we kind of ran out of time. We just grabbed someone. I think in that spot, I'd rather have grabbed like another wide receiver, give us that upside guy. I know we were even looking at Chris Godwin around there. You got like Brandon Cooks. Like that would have been a strong addition to this team. And as you're saying, then we've got JT at the lead end, Elijah Mitchell, Ramondre Stevenson, Cordell Patterson, Khalil Herbert. And I think that's still a really strong wide running back room.
Mm-hmm.
But no, definitely good point there. Okay. Let's see where we're looking at. We've got about 11 picks. So wide receivers, as we talked about, we did still start very strong with, second, third round, Tyreek and Pittman as the top of wide receivers.
Yeah.
So even though we then, waited a while to grab the later, we are still pretty heavy at the top end. And we're going to have I I think we're done with tight end and we're done with QB. And if we're done at running back, we're going to have 9 wide receivers. So this is going to be one of those drafts where we can really hammer home all those late wide receivers that we think we're sharper than the rest of the room to really capitalize on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're to some extent, I mean, we've got quality, but we're going to end up with a lot of quantity. Apparently DPJ and Deshaun Watson have been looking pretty good. Well, there he goes.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But yeah, my DPJ thing is he's going to be an asset with Watson and he's going to be irrelevant with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. But, I mean, totally. Yeah. But what if the suspension is only 2 games? I mean, there have been rumors that have been 2 to 8 games. I know it's crazy.
Right.
It's
but
crazy.
Even if it's 8,
you're still
8. Right. You're still getting him in the most valuable weeks in the tournaments and all of that. And early on, like, it's not like Watson where you're getting zeros. You're just not going to get great games at DPJ. And here's the thing. You probably drafted other wide receivers and their bye weeks are predominantly later on that you don't need DPJ when you're getting him so late. He's a player that I don't have enough of, but I should probably be keeping an eye on. All right, I'm going to just start throwing some guys in the queue that I think we can at least consider. So one, Cedric Wilson, because we have Tua.
You're just staying away from OBJ, huh?
Yeah. So on DraftKings where there's 20, I've been taking a little more. I just can't take that 0 for what? Like how long you think he's going to be out? And then even when he comes back, like I think it's just not worth. There's other young rookies that I'd rather be drafting.
Okay. Because I took him 20th round in Pros versus Joes.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Stockman taking our Kendrick Bourne. That would have been a great bring back. Let's see. Any of these guys really jumping out at you?
Where are you at? Oh, you have 20% in Will Fuller.
Yeah, that's not too great.
Yeah. I mean,
we're just time's running out. We're just gonna take Wilson here. We get the stack partner. I still like him.
That's fine.
Our last 2 picks are both gonna be wide receiver. I like Washington. I like Zay. The reports for Jacksonville coming out for Zay are pretty strong.
Zay stinks though.
Okay. You want to grab James?
Go down a little bit more.
Yep. We can keep going. AJ Green will give you a little early season value.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, could he pop for a couple big games early in the year?
Yeah. We've got Cordell Patterson for a mini stack partner.
I mean, that's when his legs are going to be the freshest. There's going to be no Hopkins. Marquise Brown is like already freaking hamstrings, or he's the human hamstring pull at this point. No, I'm not a Marvin Jones truther.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at this point this is I think majority of people who are in this draft are in this chat as well. So it's a very strong, sharp draft. But usually in the 16th, 17th, 18th, I'm getting the guys that I like. Here, feel like I'm stretching a little.
I feel like we're stretching.
Yeah. All right. So.
Ooh, look at Taysom Hill goes off the board there. Nice. Savvy pick. Given the bird to old Leone,
Talk to us about it. I mean, we saw the report that said that he may take some QB snaps. Has Underhill given you anything under the table about Taysom?
I think the most valuable information that has come out is just that he had a Liz Frank injury and he's fully cleared. I think it helps that he's not being converted to a full-time tight end. Like he's not, I think it helps that he could play some quarterback and maybe get some, get stuff around the goal line. I mean, Pete Carmichael, it was Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was like, no, his role really isn't changing. Yeah. He's sort of listed as a tight end, but that's kind of out of respect for Jameis, and I mean, he can get carries, I mean, he can score in a lot of different, he can score points in a lot of different ways. He can get packages at quarterback,
Yeah, props. Davis Maddock has been pumping that train for wanting to draft Taysom in the end of the Underdog 18th with that tight end eligibility.
Smart man.
Me personally, I haven't been doing it much once they signed Dalton, and it just says like, hey, he's not going to be that quarterback. But like, hey, with the reports that maybe he actually does take some snaps there, It definitely moves me. I mean, at ETR in general, we're pretty low on Jameis Winston. I've got very little amount, but that should definitely scare people off as well if you are going to give Taysom a little tick up.
Yeah, the Moon Man beer.
Give your take.
I was told by some of my Wisconsin buddies, you got to try the Moon Man. It's better than the Spotted Cow. I think the Spotted Cow is better, but the Moon Man is good. I didn't buy any Moon Man this time. The last time I went to Wisconsin, I did. I gave it to my friends. They liked it, but I'm a Spotted Cow guy.
All right. I like it. Chat, let's hear it from you all. Who should we be thinking about for this 8 team?
Yeah.
Who's your kind of off the board pick? I think this is
who are we taking here? Visca. I mean, that's not crazy.
They loved drawing up a plate of Visca in preseason, and Twitter goes crazy with one of those. We got some more Zay love. People just want us to draft Jacksonville. People are like, hey, Justin's in Florida. He's drafting Dolphins. He may as well draft those Jaguars. Maybe throw a little Snoop Connor in there. No. We're not drafting another running back. Let's hear chat. What do you think for this last wide receiver? It really just comes down to, so is there a San Francisco guy that you would consider here? Like, is Juwan Jennings someone that potentially has value?
I don't know how that's going to work. Juwan Jennings. I mean, I think he's okay. I think he's Kendrick Bourne. He's like the same guy as Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick has been very efficient in his career.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad player. It's just, how is he going to?
Yeah.
How's this going to work?
Is there any chance of Demarcus Robinson actually? That's just such a concentrated offense with Las Vegas. Trying to think for a bring back, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. Miami, we've got everyone there that we really want to touch. There goes Beckham.
Is Romeo gone?
I have not been saying his name in hopes that he might fall. But it was Hochberg, obviously, Mr. Hochberg.
I mean, are you kidding me?
He must have thought we were going to take him the other one. So jokes on you, Hochberg, reaching on a guy with no ADP. Ha, sucker. But that's sharp. He's the one who drafted Rodgers, so it makes sense that he would make sure he gets his Romeo. And he basically drafted our team. We're going to have a talk, Hochberg. All right. We're looking here. I think James Washington is probably a tier above most of everyone else we have available here.
God, the Seahawks drafted Dwayne Eskridge in the second round last year.
Yeah, and then he was hurt. I think it was ugly. All right, we go James Washington.
It's like he's fallen off the face of the planet.
10 seconds, unless there's I don't think it makes sense to draft a third QB. We don't have any stack partners here. All right, we're taking James.
Okay.
There it is. All right, so let's do a quick recap. We have Trey Lance and Tua. We've got our strong running back core. I think Evan made a great point that we probably a little overinvested, and maybe it was the Mitchell one was interesting because we got value, and it was the stack partner. Cam Akers just feels a little out of place, and there's a lot of other talented wide receivers and options at that spot. Let's go back to it. Wide receivers went strong at the top with Tyreek and Pittman. We love our Claypool, love the slot that he's looking at. Some more Pickens as well to pair with him, DJ Chark. Then some more flyers that were, either correlation or a little bullish on, and the Kittle Gesicki pairing at the end. Overall, what are your thoughts? How do you think we did?
I think we could have done better. But I mean, I don't know. We need our guys to stay healthy. We need career years out of guys. It's the same story for any team that is drafted with any sort of plan or execution behind it. You need guys to stay healthy. You need guys to beat the shit out of their ADPs.
Yeah, I think it's completely fair. I think this team kind of lives or dies on the San Francisco. And,
yep. And you're 2 and on love.
2 and on. Those Florida people probably love that. There's nothing. But I mean, hey, if San Francisco is highly efficient, if they can support Elijah and Kittle, and then Trey Lance is an above average passer, I think this team, has potential to do some damage. If not, then it's just another team, and we got 149 other bullets in the chamber. Okay, so Evan, while you're here, we have a sneak peek preview for the people today. So special treat, never before seen, but it's gonna be launching pretty shortly. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna give a quick preview of the Owners Club Best Ball that's gonna be launching shortly. Let's see if I can share my screen. All right, and so this is a brand new way to play best ball. I gotta make sure that I got the audio going. All right, you ready for this, Evan?
What the hell is that?
So these are packs. This is a best ball pack. And in each pack, there are 20 cards. And so you flip through, and instead of doing a draft, which takes around 45, 50 minutes, this is the team that you can then decide between. So choose all the way through. We'll reveal them all. And these are actually the position groups that you can build a lineup from, and then it becomes best ball.
I don't
QB.
I don't get it.
We got, let's see. So we got New Orleans QB, Las Vegas QB, Dallas QB. We got 20 cards, and each of these cards corresponds to the team points on that team. So, for example, if you have Minnesota wide receivers that week, you're getting Jefferson, you're getting Thielen, you're getting Osborne. And then it turns into a best ball style where once you submit your lineup, that's your lineup for the whole season. It takes your best points, and then it has that style contest for the entire year.
Okay.
So this is just a sneak peek. Pretty good, decent team, though, with some Minnesota wide receiver. We can stack up. We can grab some Dallas. Green Bay running backs is a great card because you're getting Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I'll kind of flip through pretty quickly for the others just to give a feel. But, yeah, you map out your entire team.
Is this what the Gen Zers call a non-fungible token?
That's exactly, and that's what we're doing right now. So we are going to hit mint lineup. And what it does is it mints your lineup as your team. And that's your team, which you now, because it's an NFT, you can go on the marketplace. Let me see if I can. I hit wrong button. Okay, that's fine. You can go on the marketplace and actually sell these throughout the season. So if your team gets off to a hot start, you have the ability to say hey, I want to go cash in. I'm going to sell this. Or if you think, Jaguars are going to have a big year, they have a bad couple weeks, you want to go buy those on the lowdown, on the cheap, you can go do that because it is one of those non-fungible tokens. But little sneak peek there from the Owners Club.
Nice.
Well, Mr. Silva, Evan, thank you for joining us. This has been fantastic. This has been a lot of fun. You're about halfway through the matchup columns. What's going on for the next couple weeks? Team previews. Sorry, not matchup column. We've moved on.
I'm not ready to start the matchups column yet. I mean, it's we got 45 days.
No, and Adam was, and Adam was right. I think hey, those 5 minutes to read through those are the best way really to catch up, get up to speed on everything that's been going on over the offseason with each team. You can catch those on ETR. Anything else? What's going on?
At some point when I get these freaking team previews done, I'll have out, sleepers and busts and sneaky stacks for best ball and large field season long redraft. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. Just I need to. Head is down right now, trying to bang out 2 a day, so I could just get them over with.
I wasn't kidding when I said I've legit probably read millions of words of yours, and absolutely love every one of them, and that's going to just keep going. So, chat, thanks for joining us, everyone. This has been fun, and you can catch Evan, obviously, at ETR. Catch up those team previews. Great way, and we'll see you throughout the season. Thanks for joining us.
la 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 la.